carried careful sketches of the places I would go. Every turn was neatly labeled, every answer I would know. But the miles had other stories, and the signs began to fade. The path I thought was waiting wasn't quite the one I made. Still the morning kept arriving, still the sky remained the same. Changing roads beneath my feet, changing dreams I couldn't see. Every mile rewrote a line of who I thought I'd be. Changing roads through sun and rain, through every loss and gain. The map kept slipping from my hands, yet somehow I remained. Some directions disappeared before I reached their distant light. Some doors closed without warning, some wrong turns became right. I stopped chasing perfect answers, stopped demanding certainty, and found a different kind of freedom in letting life surprise me. The horizon wasn't moving, I was changing with the view. Changing roads beneath my feet, changing dreams I couldn't see. Every mile rewrote a line of who I thought I'd be. Changing roads through sun and rain, through every loss and gain. The map kept slipping from my hands, yet somehow I remain. Maybe every winding pathway had a purpose of its own, not to lead me where I planned, but where I needed to be shown. That the beauty of a journey isn't knowing where it ends, it's discovering new versions of yourself around each bend. Changing roads beneath my feet led me farther than I knew, not toward the life I pictured, but a life that slowly grew. Changing roads beneath my feet, and looking back today, the roads I never would have chosen helped me find my way. I thought I knew the way back then. There's a version of me living somewhere near the coastline, waking every morning to a different kind of sunrise. Maybe she learned another language, maybe she became a painter. Maybe all the fears I carried never had the chance to shape her. There's a version in a city where I never missed that train, where single choice redirected every joy and every pain. I imagine sending letters through the distance of the years, comparing notes lives while sharing common hopes and fears. And I wonder what she'd tell me if her words arrived today. Would she send postcards from another life, filled with stories I don't know, photographs of different moments, different seeds allowed to grow? Would she tell me that she's happy, or still searching for the light? Would she recognize the person reading her words tonight? There's a version who stayed longer when she should have walked away, and another who was fearless when I hesitated to stay. One became exactly what she dreamed at 17 years old. One discovered better answers than the plans she used to hold. Every path creates a person, every choice redraws the page, yet somehow all those possibilities still carry my same name. And I wonder what we'd notice if our worlds could briefly meet. Would she send postcards from another life, filled with stories I don't know, photographs of different moments, different seeds allowed to grow? Would she tell me that she's happy, or still searching for the light? Would she recognize the person reading her words tonight? Maybe every version carries questions she cannot explain. Maybe every road includes its share of sunshine mixed with rain. Perhaps the lives we never lived are not as distant as they seem. They survive inside our wondering, like echoes of a dream. If she sends postcards from another life, I'll send one in return, telling her the roads I traveled and the lessons I have learned. And perhaps we both discover, looking through each other's skies, that no matter where the journey led, we were trying to find the same sunrise. Sometimes I wonder who I'd be, and then I smile at who I became. Station clock, read 9:30. I crossed the street behind the line. The door slid shut, the whistle blew, a cloud of smoke, and it was through. I stood and watched the distance grow, with nowhere else I had to go. One small delay, one altered plan. I missed the train, I missed the ride, I missed the road I thought was mine. But looking back through all these years, that missed train led to getting here. I took a walk through streets unknown, a cafe seat, a borrowed phone. A stranger left, a story shared, a friendship formed because I cared. What felt like loss that afternoon became the thread that changed the loom. One closed door, one open sky. I miss the train, I miss the ride, I miss the road I thought was mine. But looking back through all these years, that missed train led to getting here. We rarely know which moments bend the shape of life around the end. The smallest shift, the slightest sway can guide a heart a different way. I miss the train and miss the view of where I thought my life would go. Yet every turn and every mile brought gifts I couldn't have known before. I miss the train, and maybe that's the reason why I found this road. 5 minutes late, that's all. Some places stay long after we've gone. There's a narrow street in Florence living quietly in my mind, and a rainy afternoon in Dublin that I somehow left behind. A little corner coffee shop where strangers felt like friends, and a river lined with lanterns that still glows when daylight ends. The buildings may be distant, the addresses may be gone, yet pieces of those moments keep quietly living on. I carried more than luggage when I walked away. There are cities within me, still lighting hidden rooms, speaking through forgotten songs and unexpected perfumes. There are cities within me, in every road I've known, somewhere between memory and heart, they built a second home. There's a station near the ocean where I watch the evening fade, and a mountain town that taught me not to fear the plans unmade. A crowded square at midnight where the world felt wide and free, and all those distant places left a little part of me. I thought I left them far behind when I moved along my way, but they return in quiet flashes on the most ordinary days. The map keeps changing, the memories remain. There are cities within me, still lighting hidden rooms, speaking sifting through forgotten songs and unexpected perfumes. There are cities within me, in every road I've known, somewhere between memory and heart. They built a second home. Perhaps we're all collections of places, times, and skies, carrying borrowed colors that never truly die. And every journey leaves behind a fingerprint unseen, helping shape the person standing where I've been. There are cities within me, their lights still softly glow, guiding me through future roads more than they could ever know. There are cities within me, and though I had to roam, every place that changed my life became a part of home. Some places stay long after we've gone. Used to draw tomorrow with careful lines and steady hands. Every road had a destination, every step was part of the plan. But life preferred its own directions beyond the borders I could see, and every unexpected turning became another piece of me. The roots I left behind still whisper through the years. Maps we never followed still shape the way we grew. Every path we didn't travel helped define the ones we do. Maps we never followed still living in the heart, not as stories left unfinished, but as chapters of the start. Some dreams faded with the seasons, some were traded for new skies, some transformed into discoveries, wearing different names and signs. I no longer count the distances between the life I planned and this, because somewhere in the difference lives a quiet kind of bliss. The roads that disappeared were never truly lost. Maps we never followed still shape the way we grew. Every path we didn't travel helped define the ones we do. Maps we never followed still living in the heart, not as stories left unfinished, but as chapters of the start. Maybe every possibility leaves an echo when it goes, not to haunt the life we're living, but to help us understand it more. And every dream that changed direction still contributed its light, like distant stars we never reached, yet used to navigate the night. Maps we never followed now feel gentler than before, no longer symbols of regret, but reminders there was more. Standing where I am today, I wouldn't trade this view. Some dreams stayed folded inside the map, yet somehow they still let me hear. The clouds were there, the signs were clear. At least that's how they now appear. The ending seems so obvious when viewed through glass of afterwards. We draw neat lines, we connect dots, and call them plans instead of thoughts. Looking back, we all become experts overnight. Yesterday's forecast always gets it right. Every storm predicted, every fading light. Yesterday's forecast reads the story well. After all the pages already fell. Missed phone call, the delayed train, the chance encounter in the rain. At the time they felt like passing scenes, not future chapters in between. Yet years can turn a simple day into the moment that changed everything. Looking back, the puzzle fits better than before. Yesterday's forecast always gets it right. Every storm predicted, every fading light. Yesterday's forecast reads the story well. After all the pages already fell. Perhaps the gift is not to know. Perhaps the beauty needs surprise. A map revealed one step at a time beneath uncertain skies. Yesterday's forecast still arrives too late, yet somehow teaches what tomorrow cannot say. Yesterday's forecast whispers soft and clear. You never needed certainty to find your way here. Funny thing, yesterday is easy. bench beside a slow and patient stream, where the afternoon was drifting through the edges of a dream. The city felt a million miles beyond the willow trees, and every hurried worry seemed to loosen with the breeze. The couple walked their dog along the path of fading stone. The fisherman was smiling in a silence of his own. Nobody was chasing anything or trying to be found. The world was simply turning while the sunlight touched the ground. And for a while I stopped measuring the distance on a riverbed. I watched the water bend past the places it had been, toward places yet unseen. On a river bench I finally understood life was never meant to hurry just because it could. The years have filled my pockets with both victories and scars, with unanswered conversations and forgotten shooting stars. Some roads arrived exactly where the younger me had planned. Others disappeared like footprints being washed away by sand. It's sitting by that river I could feel a simple truth. Not every dream abandoned is a sign of wasted youth. Sometimes growth is learning there is beauty in the flow, and wisdom is accepting what you do not need to know. And for a while I stopped asking for directions on a river bench. I watched the water bend past the places it had been, toward places yet unseen. On a river bench I finally understood life was never meant to hurry just because it could. The river never argued with the shape of every turn. It carried every season and the lessons they returned. The current kept reminding me with every passing wave that peace is not a destination, it's the way we learn to stay. On a river bench the evening settled slow, painting gold across the water in a gentle afterglow. On a river bench I watched the daylight end and felt grateful for the roads that brought me here again. The river keeps moving without asking where it's going. small turn, that's all it takes. I crossed the street one summer day. Instead of walking straight, I stopped to read a bookstore sign, arriving 10 minutes late. A stranger asked a simple question, a conversation grew. And looking back, I sometimes wonder, what if I never knew how many worlds exist beyond a single choice? What if I had turned left instead of turning right? Would another version of me be watching a different sky tonight? What if I had turned left? Would I still be the same? Or would 1,000 tiny moments have quietly changed my name? A different train, a different seat, a different city view, a different friend, a different dream, a different avenue. The smallest shifts can redirect the stories that we tell, like pebbles changing rivers without a visible farewell. How many roads begin inside a moment's choice? What if I had turned left instead of turning right? Would another version of me be watching a different sky tonight? What if I had turned left? Would I still be the same? Or would 1,000 tiny moments have quietly changed my name? Perhaps those unseen futures are not meant to be chased. Perhaps they simply help us see the value of this place. For every road abandoned, another road was found. And every turn we didn't take still helped to shape us now. What if I had turned left and followed other signs? I'd still be searching for myself across a different line. What if I had turned left? It's a question I can keep, not as a source of sorrow, but a wonder I can meet. One small turn, that's all it takes. There's a ruin of old ambitions I carried in my youth, carefully framed beside the things I thought were true. Photographs of distant cities where I thought I'd someday stay, and plans for future chapters that slowly drifted away. There's a shelf of unopened letters and a stage I never found. 1,000 possibilities still resting underground. I walk these halls without sorrow now. In the museum of almost, every dream still has a place. Every road that disappeared left a footprint and a trace. In the museum of almost, nothing here was lived in vain. Even unfinished stories left their colors on the frame. There's a ticket for a journey I never chose to take, and sketches of a life beside a distant lake. A business plan abandoned when another door appeared, and conversations left behind through uncertainty and fear. Yet standing in this silence, I no longer feel the loss, because every vanished pathway helped illuminate my course. I walk these halls with gratitude now. In the museum of almost, every dream still has a place. Every road that disappeared left a footprint and a trace. In the museum of almost, nothing here was lived in vain. Even unfinished stories left their colors on the frame. Perhaps the purpose of a dream is not always coming true. Perhaps it simply points us toward a wider point of view. And every hope we once carried, whether realized or not, still contributed a brushstroke to the masterpiece we've got. In the museum of almost, the lights are warm tonight, shining on forgotten chapters with a softer kind of light. In the museum of almost, I finally understand the roads that never welcomed me still help shape who I am. Welcome to the museum of almost, where every dream still matters. I missed an exit past midnight lights. The road kept winding through unknown signs. No voice was guiding, no perfect plan, just distant headlights and open land. The world felt wider than I could see, yet something whispered, keep going. The sky above still knew the way. Detour stars shining windows grew darker, the air grew cold, the future carried stories untold. 1,000 questions walked beside me, but every mile set one free. Some answers waited beyond the curve, past all the routes I thought I deserved. The sky above still held its light. Detour stars shining bright over roads without a name. Detour stars through the night, showing hope without a map. When I could not see the end, they reminded me to trust the bend. Perhaps direction is not a place, perhaps it's faith in forward motion. Perhaps the stars appear the clearest when we're far from what felt Detour stars still shine on over every change design. Detour stars guide the heart, not toward plans but toward meaning. And looking back, I understand the detour was part of the journey. The map went silent, the stars did not. I remember standing younger at the edge of hopeful years, trying hard to read tomorrow through a window blurred by fears. Every answer felt important, every choice a turning tide, never knowing how much beauty waited on the other side. There were mountains I imagined I would surely have to climb, yet the deepest lessons found me in the ordinary times. Now I look behind and something becomes clear. From here I can see the winding roads, every unexpected turn, every bridge that helped me learn. From here I can see the distant lights of the dreams that brought me through to this view. There were seasons full of questions and departures in the rain. There were victories arriving hand in hand with joy and pain. There were people who stayed briefly and some who stayed for years. Each one left a little wisdom in the landscape of my tears. I would never erase the chapters, even those that hurt the most, for they taught me how to treasure everything I almost lost. Now I understand what time was trying to teach. From here, I can see the winding roads, every unexpected turn, every bridge that helped me learn. From here, I can see the distant lights of the dreams that brought me through. To this view, the younger me kept searching for a perfect master plan, but life became far richer than the one I thought I planned. Not because it all went smoothly, not because I always knew, but because every road contributed a piece of this view. From here, I can see the winding roads and feel grateful for them all, for the rise and for the fall. From here, I can see the evening sky stretching farther than I knew. And for the first time, I truly love the view. From here, the road looks different. I spent layers chasing horizons far beyond the ones I knew, believing distant places held a better kind of view. I compared my road to others, stretching far beyond my sight, wondering if another life had found a brighter light. But every season left a lesson written softly in the air. Every loss became a teacher, every burden shaped my care, and every unexpected turning I once struggled to explain was quietly building the ground where I remain. The answer wasn't waiting beyond the next hill. This sky above me is wide enough for dreams. This sky above me holds more than it first seemed. I don't need another story or another place to be. This sky above me is enough for me. There were maps I folded carefully and never used at all. There were plans that slowly faded like shadows on a wall. There were futures I imagined that never came to pass, yet their echoes helped illuminate the moments built to last. Now the evening settles gently on familiar roads and fields, and I no longer carry every question unresolved. Some mysteries stay mysteries, and perhaps they always will. But peace arrives the moment we stop asking life to stand still. The answer was growing inside the journey. This sky above me is wide enough for dreams. This sky above me holds more than it first seemed. I don't need another story or another place to be. This sky above me is enough for me. The roads I never traveled, the lives I never knew, the doors that stayed unopened, the plans that never grew. I carry them with gratitude, like stars I used to chart, not as symbols of regret, but constellations of the heart. And every winding pathway, every rise and every fall, help me find this moment where I can finally love it all. This sky above me is wide enough for dreams. This sky above me is kinder than it seems. I don't need another ending to validate this story. This sky above me already holds the glory. This sky above me is where I choose to be. And after all these roads, it feels like home to me. For a long time, I thought happiness lived somewhere else. Now I know it was here beneath